All right, school's back in session. Welcome to Academia. My name is Anthony.
I'm Brian.
And I'm the man, the myth, the legend, the crowned prince, AJ.
Hey,
Follow me on my social media. Aaron Jackson, what's up, people? How y'all doing today?
Oh gosh, go ahead and throw in them plugs, I guess. But no, we're gonna go ahead and discuss about last episode, and then we're gonna continue on from where we left off in our last segment. So I just want to talk about how our last podcast does, the first episode. Now I've only showed a certain amount of people because I'm still waiting on some of the approval from the services and stuff, but they are now just coming up. Of course, if you listen to this, they're all up right now. But from what I was gathering from our feedback, they were pretty good. And after me listening to it several times, I've noticed that our volume was pretty low. So that's why I'm talking to you guys right now. Hey, let's speak up so we can be able to do better.
All up in the mic.
Yeah, all up in the mic. No knocking it down.
Brian's leaned back over there.
All right, I'm here.
Brian's on his comfy boy. He's got his hoodie up.
Yeah,
he's got a little bit of drool on his beard.
I'm on my shady flow right now.
Yeah. You can't rap. Spit a 16 right now.
It's the movement. That's all it is.
That wasn't a 16. That was a sentence.
I didn't get it.
No bars.
Come on, son. You can't be on the shady flow and do what you
gotta pay me for that verse.
I don't see no 8.
No, we don't.
Do verses for free.
No, we don't.
Yeah, you do.
This ain't a cipher.
You gonna ask me for a hot 16?
You don't get paid for nothing.
Oh, I ain't doing that.
You trash. Take your hood off. Matter of fact, leave the room.
Hey, matter of fact, it's okay what he's doing because it's a lot better than the first episode because he was shirtless that time. One of them photos.
Oh, nah.
You guys are haters. Because
this man did a whole podcast with his chest out and said, look at it.
Listen, at least I don't have my hamburger meat hanging out, okay?
Oh, my God.
Where's some hamburger meat at, sir? I got a hat on.
Oh, snap.
We're not going to talk about hamburger meat.
It's all good, though.
Just because I need a lineup don't mean I got to have hamburger meat. I got a hat on. You can't see that. This is a podcast. They don't know what I look like.
But they know what you like now because you just described it to them.
All I know is I'm an African-American with a hat on.
Well,
Meanwhile, you a dark-skinned Slim Shady, apparently.
Oh, my gosh.
Listen,
I digress.
What did D. Cross say to you?
Who is D. Cross? They don't know who he is.
Community.
They don't know who he is.
But they said the girls the light skins, the dark skins, don't nobody want no brown Tootsie Roll.
That's great. But sitting at this table with the three of y'all, who's got a girl and who don't?
Oh my God.
Raise your hand if you got a chick.
They can't see that.
Hey.
They can't see that.
All right, well, let me give you a mental picture. My hand was up, and the other two gentlemen with me, their hands were not up.
It's his podcast. How y'all hate on him on his own podcast?
Hey, it's all good,
We're not about to start this podcast off with a roast. Let's get back to the show.
Yeah, that was good, though. I'm not going to even sit there and lie.
Seriously, that was actually pretty good starting up right there.
I can't see that.
But yeah, let's go on and talk about the last subject that we left off on. But I'm going to play a little audio so that we can have a good idea of what we were saying.
Previously on Academia.
We can kind of started off talking about the difference.
Please subscribe.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm just saying, to leave on a little cliffhanger, our next episode we could kind of start talking about how, the difference in how people our age and young African Americans were treated, maybe even as far back as Martin Luther King's time, as opposed to how we're treated now and how maybe we would react in those situations and our opinions on that. So I think that is a great segue to kind of leave a cliffhanger to get people to come back, for the next episode.
All right, you guys need to subscribe.
Okay. So, what did you mean by that, Aaron? What did you mean by saying that we are going to talk about more of the black community of these nowadays at times and how much different they are from back then? What did you mean by that whole entire segment?
Sure. Well, first of all, I want to say that was a great segue past me. I'll let President Me take over. What I meant by that was we can take it as simple as, how would you react in today's culture if you were to go up to a water fountain and that water fountain said whites only? What would be your mental space if you were to see that? Would you revolt or would you recluse? Or if you were to go into a restaurant and they would say, you ask, hey, can I have a milkshake? And they're like, no, whites only, get out of my restaurant. You know what I mean? So something simple like that, where would the mental space be, especially when you have movements like the Black Lives Matter movement and you have Colin Kaepernick doing his thing. I guess, what would you think, the socially, how would something like that react? When you have when we're in a society now where you have like your Colin Kaepernick versus like your Donald Trump.
Well, I mean, I believe it's a little bit more effective now because, see, there was no social media back then. So with that being said, it's easier to get the message across and able to voice your opinion. And with the lack of consequences, as far as like back in the day, if you was to drink out of a whites only water fountain, you would be jeopardizing your life and your family. Now you have a little bit more freedom as opposed to where you could want to practically piss in that water fountain and say, hey, man, forget you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just as equal as you are, you know?
Yeah.
So you get to, it's a different way to go about it now as opposed to back then you had to be very careful in what you did and how you move. Now you can really voice that opinion, post about it, and do whatever you can to get that message across to let everybody else know that, hey, this guy is still stuck back in the old days as far as the times and stuff. But really that goes back to how you were raised. Because I don't really get mad at someone for being racist. I get mad at who was the person that taught them, but you have to think about
ignorance, for one.
Well,
Yeah,
Continue,
ignorance.
not to cut you off.
yeah, no, you're good. I mean, the time that has passed back then, if your parents, let's say, are in their 50s or 60s, you can only imagine what they seen growing up. And if someone taught them that, it just gets passed down the line. It takes a strong person to want to break that belief. Something has to almost happen to them for them to want to be like, you know, maybe it isn't about color anymore. You know what I'm saying? You have people like that, very few in the world that, you know, has had stuff where they had to count on an African American person or a white person, and they don't feel that way. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
I would even go as far as I think the difference in today as opposed to in the past, where like obviously everyone knew that racist acts were being committed in the past. That's no secret. We all know that. But I think the thing is that nowadays in the age of social media, there is a higher sense of accountability for the things that you do. Whereas if, let's say in the 50s, if a small restaurant in Southern Alabama, and I'm not hating on Alabama, but a small restaurant in Southern Alabama was like a whites only restaurant, nobody bats an eye. I mean, it's a small restaurant in Alabama, so nobody sees it. Nobody really bats an eye. No big deal. But if that were to be done in today's world, the social media age, there's a bigger sense of accountability because someone would take a picture of that would be exploded, that restaurant would be criticized, it would be a nationwide thing, and it would be something that more people would be talking about as opposed to things that were done in the past. So I think taking it towards the conversation of the effects of social media on society, I think social media certainly, I would say, gives a higher sense of accountability for not only the things that you do,
Definitely.
in private, but in public as well. So you always got to kind of watch what you say and what you do, because there's every single one of us has a camera in our front pocket or back pocket. So we can always kind of record and say, hey, this is what's going on and it's not right. And once you let people know, then that's how you start a movement. So that sense of accountability is definitely the big difference now as opposed to
It's
back
crazy
then.
how accessibility has changed throughout the years. And just like you said, like everyone has access to be able to put anything up so fast within seconds. And like those things right there, it can gravitate attention fast too. And like once it has its attention and it's out there, it's over. Like you cannot pull it back as soon as it's up there. Like you can post something within like 5 seconds. Someone's already seen that and someone's already getting some type of context from it. And it's very dangerous. But like, you know, as far as the racial thing goes, like a lot of people, we all have our opinions on it. And you got to look at it at both sides too, because like, even though we as, you know, young black African American men, we look at a lot of things as of very bad whenever they want to talk about us and our racial views and stuff. But to them, they believe it to be natural. So what would you say for someone who's like grown up to something like that and they see it as a normal thing? Like, how can you tell them that this isn't right and it doesn't feel good for me? Like, you know, we all want to understand each other, right? And that's how we become better as a society, as a human in general.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very hard to break a generational
Curse.
curse. I was gonna say a generational ignorance. I mean, if you are from the womb to the tomb, as they say, are thought to or brought up and conditioned to think and behave in a certain way, then you won't know any other way of behaving. So if you were brought up to, let's say, per se, to hate every other race or every other culture, then it's going to be hard to break that cycle. A simple think piece isn't going to just change perspective on anything. Like obviously we can take it to religion. We were brought up to think and believe in God, right? But who's to say, and this is a controversial statement. Obviously I believe in God, I'm a Christian. Don't get me wrong. But who's to say that if we weren't born in like Africa or like in an Islamic region that we wouldn't believe in the Nation of Islam, or we wouldn't be Muslim, you know what I mean? So it's very hard to break that cycle of thought, whether it's right or wrong. I don't necessarily know that there ever is going to be the right answer to kind of break that, just because it dates so far back, especially as far as racism is concerned. America was never created to be, they say it was a nation for everyone to be equal, but it was never created to be equal in a sense towards African Americans anyway. So when you start and something is unequal to begin with, it's very hard to correct, no matter what you do, no matter what kind of, I don't know the word I'm looking for, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but no matter whatever you try to do to make things right, there's always going to be that sense of, well, it was never equal in the first place. Right. So,
well, with that being said, us at least as African Americans have a lot more opportunity. Like with certain jobs, we couldn't get certain jobs back in the day. So now you're forced to deal with people that you don't like dealing with. Like, so if you don't like black or white or whatever the color is, you have to do business with them now. So now you're learning how to tolerate them. And that's all about, your experiences in life and your, not being one-dimensional, like we talked about in the last segment. And how to, be able to tolerate and put up with one another and just whatever it takes. So that's one step in the right direction, because you can't, ignore this person because it's going to stop you from doing what you need to do. So in a sense, I'm not going to say that that's the cure or anything like that, but that's definitely a step in the right direction, because now that we're allowed to get these jobs and things like that, and they, even with schools, how they have it with minorities and things like that, diversity, my bad. Diversity, how schools are more diverse. It ain't just an all-white school or all-black school. You got every race in there. Yeah. Even your teachers are a different race. So you're forced to tolerate, to cooperate and cope with those others, which kind of makes a big difference. At least a step in the right direction, I would think. Anyway.
Yeah, I think things are definitely better. I don't want to make it seem like that I have this negative view of the world, or that I feel like things are never going to get better, because that's not the case. Things are always going to get better, in a sense, but it's hard to. My perspective is that it's hard to. There's not going to be a simple fix for an extremely complex problem. Yeah. So.
Well, you could definitely say that the improvement throughout these years is there. Like, you can definitely see that we have gotten better as a society. But there's still some works that needs to get done out there. And that goes for, everybody, not just, African American people. Like, you got your Hispanics, the Asian culture, you have the Eastern people and all that. We're all having our share of problems and stuff, and we're all trying to work towards a better goal to get it better. It's just that these times, we're still lingering a lot of the past. Some people can't get over the past. Some people can't admit the past. It's just a process that we're all going to have to continue to work on. And, I can definitely say, within the next generation after ours, is definitely going to get better and all that.
Well, I don't know, because there's a lot of loopholes in the system. And with that being said, no matter whether it's Colin Kaepernick or whoever, how you feel about that, brings up an ideal situation about some type of race or belief or culture, it's always going to get swept under the rug. So with that being said, because of a loophole, there's a way around the system. It's kind of funny, because I was thinking about Donald Trump when he was talking about how to get around his taxes. Yeah. So, it's just, it all depends on who's in charge and who's going to take it seriously. Because as far as the government goes and things like that, you can't be a businessman and care about the people as well, as we all know this. So,
I mean, you can. I wouldn't say that.
So you're saying
multiple,
I don't care about people?
There's multiple businessmen who are humanitarians as well. I mean, I'll leave the conversation.
They look like it, but then you got to think, like, when they say they donate money, how much of that is their money? And
how much of it is a tax write-off? But you can't look at it that way. At least they're donating the money.
No, that's not true, because let's say I'm worth $1 billion, but I donated $2.5 million. That looks like a lot of money, but really that's pocket change. That didn't really.
But that's still better than not donating anything, though, is what I'm saying. So if I have $20 and I'm donating $2, that's no different than a billionaire donating $2 million.
I'll give a prime example, like the rapper Chance the Rapper. He's only worth $7 million, or he was at the time when he was first blowing up. He was at one point in his career, he was worth $7 million. Because his dream was to give back to Chicago, where he came from, and to do what he said he was going to do. Because he doesn't have a whole lot. He gave from the bottom of his heart. He gave $4 million. That's a big chunk of his money. That shows that it was his money, and that it kind of, I'm not going to say it put him in a hole, but it really showed that he put a dent in his pocket, in the sense of, if you're donating a small portion that's literally chump change, that's not really, I'm not going to say you don't care, but you know what I'm saying? That makes a big difference, because how much is that written off? Like, Oprah Winfrey, for a prime example. She's a great person. She gives back all this and that. Same with the Ellen DeGeneres show. But a lot of those TVs and things they get that stuff for free. They're just handing it off. But when you comes to marketing value, and it looks like they're an amazing person, which brings their stock up and gives you a higher perspective on who they are. But you have to put all this other stuff in consideration. If those TVs, did you buy those Joan money? Is there something that, are you sponsored with those company of TVs or whatever the case is? You know what I'm saying? That makes a big difference, because we would all give stuff away if we were getting it consistently and for free. But how many people are actually going to give that away out of their own pockets from taking food out of their family's mouth? That makes a big deal.
I can't agree with you on that one, though, dude, because I feel like whether you're a millionaire or you got $3, if you're willing to give anything, that still makes you a charitable person. Now, the way that I think you're looking at it is so let's say you have a millionaire, right? And this millionaire doesn't post it on any social media in no shape or form, just out of his own personal goodness, decides to give $500,000 to a charitable organization, or he just walks down the street and gives money away, right? Now, no one sees that. No one talks about it. The only people that know are the people that receive the money. Now, I feel like that does not in no way make him a bad or selfish person by any means. No. But then you have someone like, for example, pop culture reference. You have Drake's God's Plan video. I don't know if you all have seen it or not. But I think there was a controversy going on a few weeks ago with that video, where some people were saying, "Oh, it's great that he made this video to all the funds for this video go on to these people that are in the video, and he's giving away money and stuff, and that's great, right?" But some people will say, "Oh, did he do this for the clout and the popularity that comes with a charitable donation? Did he do this to benefit himself, or did he do this for the general goodness of his heart?" I think that either way, whether it's for the clout or whether it's out of the general goodness of his heart, he's still giving the money. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's no way, and correct me if I'm wrong, we all have our own opinions, so it's cool, but I think there's no way that you can judge a man whether he's doing something for his own personal gain or doing it for the better. As long as he's giving, he's still giving. But whether the intent doesn't matter as long as the message is received.
But I think the intention does matter, because that goes back to who you are as a person. If I can give you something that doesn't affect me, I would give it all the time, because I don't really care at the same point in time. But when it comes down to my last dollar, and you say you need the shirt off my back, or you need some gas, and I'm down to my last couple bucks, and I give that means to show that you mean you're important to me, and that I'm trying to do the best I can to help you out, and I'm doing all I can. And that makes a big difference when you're giving the clothes off your back or your last couple of bucks to really give to help someone else, because in my belief, we get more blessings by giving blessings. It's better to give than receive.
I agree with that.
So with that being said, it's different when I give you my last dollar. Can you count on me? Can I come through for you? As opposed to, yeah, man, take that, because it means anything. Just like when we were kids, our parents used to buy our shoes and clothes. A lot of times we didn't, unless you were growing up more in a poor area, you didn't really care about those shoes and clothes because you didn't have to pay for it. Now that we have to buy our own stuff, we take more care of it. Now, as what we did back then. Because back then, they'll buy it or we don't really care. Now we have more understanding of value of a dollar and things like that. So it means more to us when we spend our own money on whatever it is. So if you can give it or get something, it doesn't mean as much as it does as you putting your own time and money in.
Right.
So that's why.
Well, here's my question to you. Let me ask you this, and then Anthony, you can interject if you want to too. My question to you is, so okay, if someone from the angle, and this is how I'm taking in what you just said, from the angle that you just took, if someone were to give you, someone who's got $100 million, if they were to give you $2 million in public for their own social gain, for their own clout, would you refuse to accept that money even though you need it because they're doing it to benefit themselves as opposed to benefiting you? Or would you still take that money even though you know it's not benefiting yourself? Because I know for a fact, if someone's giving me $2 million, whether they're doing it to make me feel better or doing it to give themselves to make the perspective on them better, I'm taking that $2 million because I need it.
Well, the person on the receiving end is always going to benefit from it, so they're going to always come out on the good side. But when we talk
is that not the point though?
To an extent, but
same thing though. But like, you have people who've gotten lucky on lotteries and stuff, or like someone who has donated that money towards them. But couldn't you say the same thing for them? Like, I'm part of your family. Why don't you slide $1 million towards me? Wouldn't you say the same exact thing on that situation too? Because like the same person he was talking about, the billionaire gives someone who needs the money $2 million. Well, he has that $2 million. His family and friends are going to be all like, yo, you're good friends with us, right? Yo, you're like my brother. You going to give me a piece of that?
No, with that being said,
what's that going to look like too?
Well, what that's going to look like is, first of all, I'm not telling someone not to give, or it's not about how much the money is. But what I'm saying is you can't be a fool with your money either. You have to take care of yourself and whatever it is you need that money for.
And that's the point that I'm making.
If you have extra and you put away and you got your business take care of, by all means take care of your family or who at least in needs it that's close to you. Not just no third or second cousin that you don't really know. Somebody that's close to you, then yes, help them after you take care of your business first. You have to be wise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, you can't. Sorry,
no.
I only got one thing to add. You can't save someone from drowning if you're underwater yourself.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't. They say if a plane is going down, you have to put on your oxygen mask first before you put on your child's oxygen mask.
Right.
You can't help someone else breathe if you're not breathing yourself. So you have to be able. There's such a thing as being too charitable, and I don't mean that in a selfish way. But you can't save the world if you can't save yourself.
Exactly.
No hero gets beat and battered and bruised every single day and then goes back to save the world the next day without feeling the pain.
Well, see, like all these conversations we're having about that, and it goes right back to how we were talking about the struggle of the African American society too, because a lot of times we look towards money to fix our problems, and money's not going to always be able to fix our problem. Like, we're always wanting like some type of donation or like some miracle to come out with money. But haven't y'all ever thought about, okay, how about we use this to help teach people to improve themselves? Because if you're just giving people money, then they're going to expect money all the time. Like you're going to have to teach them to be able to work and get that themselves.
Instead of giving them a fish, teach them how to fish.
Exactly.
That same energy that you're putting into, and I'm not talking about anybody specifically, but that same energy that you're putting into asking and begging for help, put that same amount of energy into helping yourself. Now, there's nothing wrong with asking for help if you need it. Don't get me wrong. We all go under sometimes. Stuff happens. But if you put that same amount of energy into bettering yourself as you do into looking into others, looking for others to help you, then you'll be in a lot better off position, I think.
Right.
And that's how I was raised. But, I mean, that's me. So
it's good to give, but also teach while you're at it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I definitely agree with that. Like I said, I'm not knocking anybody for giving them money. But like I said, there's a difference if I come to you one week and you give me some money because you have it, and then the next week and you're a little bit low, but you're in a better position than I am. And I say, hey, man, I really need some help. Can you at least, just for the time being, I paid you back last week like I said I was. can I count on you? And it's like, oh no, man, screw you. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. That makes your perception of another person a little different. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and it makes it different
when the money's televised anyway. That's what makes it questionable, because like, is that mandatory that they have to say that they gave and donated this much money? Like you said, I like the idea. Like you said, if somebody was to give $500,000 under the table, that's a really giving person coming out of their pocket, and not because they're not doing it for the exposure. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong when it comes to a certain amount of donation. It's going to get televised. Period. Because,
definitely.
That's a big,
somebody's going to say something. Yeah,
but a lot of times, and I'm not trying to knock some of these charities, but we don't really know where these money goes to. Like I found out, like my dad, our dad, we found out that he stopped giving money in the buckets when you like drive on up to the side of stoplight and stuff, when they hand out for like the kosher or whatever and stuff. Well, my dad stopped donating to them because he found out that money gets branched off into whatever part of the town it is. So if you live in a nice area and my dad happened to drop some money off, it's only benefiting the kids that live out in the rich areas. Now, if you drop the money off in a bucket down in the poor area, it takes care of those kids. And we didn't know that. But my dad thinks that it should be all around. All around. Now, go ahead.
But here's the thing, though. You can say, oh, okay, well, it's only benefiting the kids in those well-to-do areas, but who's to say that those kids, whether it's money or whether it's any other kind of help, who's to say just because they're in a well-to-do area that they still don't need that help? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they need the help. But
I'm sure there's some houses in Lake Forest somewhere that got all the furniture in the world, all the utilities, gaming systems, all that, but ain't no food in the fridge.
Right.
Well, that's called being hood rich. I mean,
oh my gosh.
That's great. But what I'm saying to make my point though, what I'm saying, do those kids still not deserve to eat too? You know what I mean?
Right.
Those kids still deserve to eat is my point. So whether you're giving to, no matter what, the point of giving is to give. So no matter what the intrinsic motivation is for giving, at least you're still giving.
The thing
That's my only point. Giving is good no matter what it is that you're giving for, as long as you're giving something.
If it's not yours to give, then you're not really giving. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, if it doesn't come out of your pocket, it's not giving. Because really, you don't care where that goes at, because it don't do nothing to you. It doesn't affect you. That's the difference. When something affects you, our outlook on things are a lot different. Like, if I hand you $20 out of my pocket right now, that affects me. You know what I'm saying? Small amount or big amount. But if somebody says, hey, we're sponsoring you and we're giving you $20 a week, if I hand you $20, I don't care about that because that doesn't do anything for me. It's not mine.
But the 20 still being received though, is my point. Somebody's still benefiting from that 20, whether it affects you or not. That 20 is still being benefited.
It's benefiting because of my sponsor or whatever. It's not benefiting because of me. I don't care.
But the person who needs it still gets it.
Well, going to him.
And that's fine. And that's fine. You could, if it doesn't bother you at all, that's great. But if you're still benefiting the person who needs it, that's all that matters to me. As long as the help is being received, it doesn't matter whether it hurts or helps the person that's giving. As long as the person that needs it is benefiting from it.
Yeah. Okay, well, how would you look at it in a way if, like, they're sponsoring something that you have created? It's your work. They're sponsoring your work. How would you look at that?
Okay. That's actually a really good question. Because I had to sit back and think about
and that's the thing. You say, oh, well, if someone's giving you, but here's the thing though. Let me give you a prime example. If someone, a millionaire off somewhere gives you $1,000 and says, okay, Brian, I see you're doing great in the gym. And they post it on social media. It gives them clout. It gives you clout. And they give you $1,000 and they say, okay, Brian, take this $1,000 and go nationwide, which $1,000 is going to get you nationwide. Figure of speech.
Right.
But to my point, they give you $1,000 and they say, here, Brian, take this $1,000, go nationwide, spread your message, help train people, come back to Louisville, and we'll keep it moving. Now, this person is a millionaire. So that $1,000, it ain't ish to them. It means nothing, right? So with that mindset, it doesn't mean anything to them. So are you going to decline that $1,000 and be like, nah, forget you, I'm going to figure it out my own way? Or are you going to say, okay, thanks for the $1,000. I know this doesn't affect you much, but it still really helps me, so I can keep it moving with that.
I'm going to give you an analogy really quickly, and it can be bad, but I'm going to use it anyway because it came to mind. To me, for you guys that don't know, me and Anthony's mom, she's a minister. And what we call that in the ministry world would be falsifying the prophet, meaning making you look better than what you really are. So with that being said, my analogy would be, for prime example, rapper Eazy-E. We all thought that he was a great rapper, legendary status, of course, but he didn't write his own music. So how good is he really? You see what I'm saying? So when you go behind the scenes and see, you be like, dang, this person really is low-key a piece of shit, but he looks good on the outside. Like, you got a nice suit on, but what are you on the inside of that suit? You see what I'm saying? And that's just all I was saying to that message. That's how I view things and look at it.
Oh, yeah.
But you didn't answer the question, though. Are you going to take the $1,000 or not?
Yeah, I'm going to take the $1,000.
Then that makes your... Well,
because if it's
it doesn't make your argument
doesn't.
irrelevant, but it still speaks to the point that I'm trying to make, though. If you're still going to take that $1,000, it still helps you.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can just agree to disagree. Okay. I'm beating the dead horse here.
Treat it like a woman. If they can clean you out,
careful.
They will.
Be real careful.
Okay, you're right.
Be definitely.
treat it like a no good woman then.
Okay.
If they can clean you out, they will clean you out. They don't care where it comes from, as long as they get the feeling of cleaning that getting that money, cleaning the person out. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, if I respect you and I like you and I look up to you and I get some money from you, I'm not gonna try to get everything from you. I'm going to get what I need, and if I ain't going to get no more than what I can't handle. Yeah. With that being said, so if you say, here, I'm going to let you hold 1,000, and I feel like I can handle it, I'm going to take that 1,000 and make sure that it gets properly returned to you in a reasonable amount of time, or whatever we agree on. With that being said, if I didn't care about you because you told me the money coming from whatever, it's not yours, I'm gonna clean you out. I'm just gonna keep it real with you.
Oh my gosh.
But then that speaks to your own negative ill intent.
No, because you're gonna always take something that somebody gives
but
it
now
to
that's
you.
two wrongs.
No, it's
if
not.
You got two people being wrong, two wrongs don't make it right.
You offered to give me something, so
so now you're gonna take advantage of it because I didn't have the right mindset. Instead of knowing that person has a negative mindset, so give me the 1,000 and let's keep it moving.
Does any of those guys say no?
I'm not gonna say no, but I'm not gonna take advantage of that person either, though, because that speaks to my own mental state.
Well, everyone has their own point of view on how they take care of their situations and stuff. Like I don't think Brian's really like that, but
I
don't think you're like that at all. But for some people out there, like that's probably how their mindset is. Like they probably can only fix their situations by doing something like that. So I can understand how like people can look at that and be like, oh man, that's terrible. Like I think it's terrible too. But like you also got to think in their point of view as well, in their perspective. Like maybe that's the only way that they can handle their situations. Like we can help them out, but like it's up to them on how they want the end result in. There was something I wanted to ask you both too. Like since we're talking about how people pretty much bring themselves up and publicly on building up their image. How do you look at it in perspectives of like how is it that people are bringing up their image, and what is your thoughts on people trying to bring out their image to the public? Like, do you see something bad trying to bring out your image, or do you see it as a good thing on bringing out your image?
Well, okay.
Go ahead,
I think, you know how I am once I get going, dude.
Go ahead.
To me, there's nothing wrong with bringing out your image. That's very important. It's about whatever field you're in. So, some things require your image a little bit more. You need to know who the person is so we can know what we're dealing with here.
Right.
But then it's also the second part behind it is the reasoning why are you bringing out your image. Because you can bring your image out because you want people to know your story or whatever the case is, and to show that you can you're dealing with similar situations, just more on an iconic status because you have so-called entered into that next realm of making it and success-wise, or it could be just for a publicity thing, just whatever to keep your name up in lights and things. It's reasoning, and then also your reasoning why. Like some people's field requires it more. Like if you're more hands-on, physical stuff, whatever it is, people want to see your work, whether it's painting or something, you need to see. If I picture like Picasso or something like that, I'm going to picture him with damn paint all over his arms and stuff and crazy hair or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, Brian, you just got dirty mind. Not dirty mind, but dirty mouth.
Explosives. Bro.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean.
Keep the PG-13. We limit it to like 3 cuss words per podcast.
3? That's 1 cuss word per person.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
anyway,
that's fine. Just continue on.
Yeah, go ahead. Unless you finish your point, because I can.
being more messy style of a look guy. If he came in clean cut and all that, I'd be like, dang, you a painter? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So image is kind of but it's more of a visual thing when it comes to artwork. So you need to kind of see what you're dealing with here. I want to know what the painting looks like, Mona Lisa style. With that being said, somebody that is more mental, you know, and they're just trying to describe, you know, you might want to see what they look like, but other than that, you're not really worried about what's going on.
Yeah. Well, here's my take on that. First of all, I'll say in anything and in everything you do, always be yourself.
Right.
Now, if you want to be like a satirical version of yourself, then, I mean, by all means, go for it, right? But I always take it back to just the era that we're in. And, I mean, this is the age of social media. This is the age of clout. This is the age where you can put yourself out there and you can put out whatever image or perspective of yourself that you want people to see.
Right.
So with that being said, I mean, you could go out and say, oh, okay, so I know I want to talk about this because it's trending. I know it'll get me views. Or you can say, oh, but this is what's really on my mind. So I want to talk about this, even though it might not reach as many people, but it'll reach the people that it needs to reach. So it all just kind of goes back to, I mean, what are you trying to put out to the world? Right. So, I mean, if you want to go about giving yourself a better than image, then by all means do you. But I feel like I would choose to take the route of more, I mean, I'm just going to be myself and be honest. So you can take it as it is. So whether that gets 1 view or 1 million views, then I'm still content because I'm happy with the work that I did. And I know at the end of the day that I can go and look in the mirror and say, that's still me. So I mean, it's
bringing out an image of yourself right there. Like, doesn't that relate to how Anthony Davis was thinking about shaving his brow? Because that's an image that he has created going up. And you know, for a lot of people, they were saying like, no, you don't do that because that's pretty much your brand, your image right there. You can't get rid of something that you have created that's shown to the world and that pretty much represents who you are. And that goes on pretty deep of what we're saying right here, because like we're creating something, or like we are bringing out something that can either be good or bad towards the people's point of views. And the way that people can look at how you bring yourself out there can result in your whole entire career or your life right there. Like pretty much first impressions mean a whole lot.
They're lasting impressions,
yes,
for sure, without a doubt.
Always make a good first impression whenever you're doing so. And like our parents always tells us to carry yourself out, you know, lovingly and carefully and all that.
Yeah, like simple things like don't walk out of the house until you're comfortable with how you're dressed. Or
right.
If you know, if you know you could have did something better, then don't stop doing it until it's done the way that you're happy with it. Because that way, then if somebody's got something to say about it, or if they hate on it, then it's like, you know what? Well, I like the way I look. Well, I like the way I wrote that paper, or I like the way this song sounds that I made. So therefore, as long as you like it, then can't nobody tell you anything. As long as you continue to do stuff for yourself to make yourself happy, then that will project onto other people. And some people will get the message, some people won't. But I mean, as long as you're content with yourself, then your mental state will always be fine. So you'll never have to feel like, oh, well, I got to do this because the public likes that better. Right. Or, oh, well, I got to do this because this will get more views. Or, oh, well, I got to do this. The person who does everything to please other people is the person that's going to live a sad life.
Exactly.
For lack of a better word. Because, I mean, if you spend all the time pleasing other people, when do you please yourself?
Exactly.
So, you got to do what makes you happy.
That's where a lot of downfalls come to. Whenever you're only thinking about, like, it's good to think about your audience. But if you only think about your audience and the outcome of thinking about it, then you're going to lose yourself. And you're going to start, like, losing everything that you have brought up and how much you've worked so hard on, too. Because something that you thought was very special at some point in your life, you wanted to bring out to other people. And then once you get it out there and your mind gets foggy and like it loses track of what you had at the very beginning, that's going to be your demise right there.
Brian, what's going on over there? First of all, you've been silent for like the past 5 minutes, bro.
I've been listening what's on your mind? You guys have been going on pretty good. I talked a whole bunch in the last one. I'm just kind of listening and taking in because I like to hear different people's perception on things. Yeah. And I'm learning from this as well as we're teaching you guys, or at least talking about it anyway. because it's good because we all three have different minds and different views on things.
And we've all each had our own different experiences, and we've all learned from those experiences in our own unique way. So,
well, see, that's what makes the three of us unique. We all have three different opinions and three different lifestyles. Once we all come together, three minds is better than one, right?
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, like for example, my opinion that hat looks kind of goofy on your head right now, Brian. I mean, you know,
it doesn't matter at this point.
You got them Waldo ears going right now.
To him, he's probably swagging.
I'm not even here right now. I'm wired right now. This little aminos right now I've been taking, guys, which is, you know, here in the future I'll have my own little supplement come out soon.
Here he goes.
I'll get you guys plug-ins.
Oh yeah,
hook you up with the meal plans, workouts.
I'm not gonna even sit there and lie. I'm ready to go lift weights right now. I
don't blame you, man.
I'm good. I'm just saying. I was drinking some more of it. I guess it's got a little bit higher caffeine intake.
Yeah, you fogging up over there, cuz.
I ain't thinking about you, man. I'm tired of you, dog.
Well, speaking of workouts, I've been like switching around, changing up mine for the last couple of months now because like I feel like there's definitely a change that I need to do for my workout.
Well, that's good, man, because really, you know, you don't want to get your body adjusted to anything because the human body adapts so quickly to certain stuff. Like I see guys come in the gym with pen and paper because they're trying to keep up on tack with the routine. Mm-hmm. But how long does it take for you to get used to doing that same amount of weight, same exercise? It's like, all right, you know, even like when, for a prime example, when you're with your woman or whatever and you do certain things.
You always take it back to the woman like you got one.
He loves talking about the women now.
Why do you talk about the bus like that? That was wrong. Then that was out of order. You got it, man.
It's all right. If that's
you want me to spend 5 minutes in the corner and you want me to turn my mic around?
That was rough though. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, my bad. Say what you're trying to say. Go ahead. I'll turn my mic around. My bad. Go ahead.
Talk no more. I'm done.
Oh no, you don't get to be done. Go ahead. With the woman.
So guys,
that was bad.
I'm gonna let y'all know.
You're supposed to be my best friend.
I am, and if I'm my best friend, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I'm gonna keep it honest. I'm gonna keep it real,
guys. Everybody should know the basics.
Why can't we?
Well, then
be
what's
friends?
the basics?
Why can't we be friends?
Interrupt your comment.
Why can't
say
we
something
be
friends?
Yeah, he's talking about the hamburger on top.
Stop the hate.
I was talking about on your chest.
Let's bring out some love.
I got a hoodie on. I don't see any hamburger.
That's what I'm saying. I don't take my hamburger out. See what I'm saying?
Hey, we're at 42 minutes. This is like our longest. Like,
hey, y'all, look, we're not even going to finish no more because he didn't get me upset and stuff.
Nah, so we'll continue with Brian's woman on the next episode.
Or whatever comes up. So,
the workout. We'll continue with working out on the next episode and helping my brother find him a comfortable, stable workout plan. That'd be nice.
I guess we could probably talk about that.
And we can get me off the couch, too.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, there you go.
So, eventually, we are going to be bringing in some guests because I do want to have another opinion on here. A woman's opinion will be great.
Ladies.
Yes.
You heard it here first.
So, any of you nice young women. Okay, I'm just kidding. But any of
Where are you going with that?
I was just kidding.
Was that a back page ad?
I'm just kidding.
He got deep. He said, ladies.
I'm just kidding. But, like, seriously, any of you ladies out there that wants to talk about anything that can range from, like, whatever comes up that you have on a product you have or just an opinion you have on any type of subject, it'll be nice to hear a woman's perspective because just three men, you know, we all have like different personalities and stuff. But
if you feel like we're just three stupid black dudes that don't know what we're talking about, come tell us why you feel that way.
Yeah,
we want to know why.
Don't tell us face to face.
Oh gosh,
make sure.
What does that mean?
That means what it means. Write it in the comments. If you walk up to us and approach us and ask why you feel like we're stupid, I'm probably going to blow up on you. I'm not going to sit there.
That's the roids talking through him. I'm just going to laugh.
No. It's all natural over here.
No, so it'd be nice to have a woman's ideas and perspective to be on here. So eventually, if any of you women locally around the little area,
of course. Man, give me one second. Just think about that, Aaron. Hey, go ahead and say, Aaron, Jack, say something real quick. Just say something.
Something.
Hey, dude, I think you're stupid. Hey, you know what? I was watching your podcast, man. I think you guys are idiots. Let me tell you why.
Why'd you continue to listen to it then? Obviously, we were talking about something that you enjoyed if you kept listening to it, miss. Now go have a hamburger and a Coke and be quiet. Or come talk to us on the show.
Did you
in
just
front of our audience.
No, that was...
Okay, the bottle. Okay.
Dang, man, they trying to throw me the bus.
That's the Roy's cracking through. Man. Somebody come save this man. He needs a dumbbell. He's wigging out over there. He needs to pump something.
All that protein.
Pause.
Yeah, it's protein. Yes, sir. Don't really take a whole lot of supplements, guys. I don't think that you actually need supplements.
Right.
I mean, if you take them, you get faster results. Yes, but at the same time, you're only going to get so fast results, and it's not good for your body to keep making rapid changes at a quick pace.
We can continue to.
Yeah,
let's wrap it up. We'll wrap it up then.
Because, people got things to
do. We're running out of time.
But yeah, next episode, we're going to continue that. Probably something else as well. Later down the line, it'd be nice to have a woman's idea come on here. I've been repeating myself over and over again. But yeah, that is the podcast. Thank you for listening.
Plug time.
Yeah, go ahead and throw in the plugs again so everybody
can hit me up on Facebook at Brian BRYN Marshall, of course, and then my Instagram, Brian BRYN3 Marshall, all one word. Hit me up on that. Write comments down below. I'll get back with you guys. There you go. I got some pictures I just uploaded on that from when we took our last podcast to let you know, guys, see the progression from January until right now. So,
yeah. I'm going to keep mine short, sweet, and simple. It's the man, the myth, the legend, the one, the only Crown Prince AJ. That's CROWNPRINCEAJ, and that's Instagram, that's Twitter. You can follow me on either one of those. You might not get a follow back, but you can still hear what I got to say if you're interested. And if you like what I talk on the podcast, my Twitter and my Instagram are the same way. So, we keep it positive. We keep it moving.
All right. Well, for me, that's Anthony D. Marsh, ANTHONYDMARSH. You can check me out on Twitter and Instagram on that. Also, you can go on Facebook or on my website, which is AnthonyMarshallStudios.com. And I believe that's about it, guys. Good job on the second episode of the podcast, and I'll catch y'all guys later.
All right.
Yeah, take it easy out there, folks.
Peace.
Peace.